Grover's like, I literally swore on everything that I loved to your mother that I was going to protect you, sir. Don't do this to me. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Percy Jackson and the Olympians. We're now on to episode 4, which is called I Plunge to My Death. Dramatic, but aren't all your teen years. But anyhow, so the last episode we had our trio embark on their quest, the very first quest they've ever done, and it's to retrieve the Master Bolt of Zeus. And it's pretty rocky. The three of them are still trying to find their groove. Percy and Annabeth have obvious trust issues with each other, and their butting of heads kind of causes a lot of ripples in the team for a while. And Grover was very much trying to play the middle, but then after they managed to defeat Medusa, they got some truths out of the way. They established that they're going to trust each other for the rest of this quest, and we got some really cool moments through all three of them, and see that chemistry starting to shine through with this trio. And now they're ready to move on to the next step of their journey, refreshed and feeling a little bit emboldened, I think, now that they know they've taken out at least one monster. And then they took the head of Medusa and decided to send that to the gods as kind of a little bit of a message, but also like you guys deal with it because she's way too dangerous to be left here. So that's how we ended the last episode, and we're going to be moving on to the next part of it because this quest has quite a few stops if it follows the book, which I believe it will. So I'm excited to jump into this episode. But just before I do, if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I do a lot of reactions here to all kinds of good stuff, and if you'd like to support me and be notified of when these episodes come up, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And if you like this video, please show it some love with some thumbs up and some comments below. I appreciate it so much, and I love reading those comments. All right, that out of the way, guys, let's get into the episode right about now.
You know I wouldn't ask you to do this if it wasn't safe, right? Percy?
Yeah, his face, he's like, I'm not so sure about that, Mama. I don't trust you.
And I may not be there to help you when that happens, so I need to make sure you can do it.
Breathe. Just breathe, Mommy.
Not him giving you some therapeutic advice. When the kids throw it back at you, huh?
You'll always be here.
Oh, honey. I wish that was true.
Mom!
Damn, that quick, huh? Well, here's your first life lesson, Percy.
A forbidden child attracts attention. A forbidden hero.
Excuse me, why am I forbidden?
She is coming.
Damn. Those were some wonderful dreams you were having at such a young age. I wonder that you're not completely insane by now.
Hey, you asleep?
Yes.
Okay, Annabeth.
She was the last forbidden kid before me, right? She must have dealt with the same kind of stuff.
Luke cared for me right away, but Alia.
Warm up kind?
I gotta earn it with you too.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
Percy's quick.
Gotta burn an offering to get a parent's attention. Gotta beat up on Clarice just to get my father to admit he's my father. It isn't supposed to work that way.
Yeah, Greek gods be petty, yo.
People who are close to you aren't supposed to treat you that way.
Period.
That's how it works with Athena. We're born from a thought in her mind and then given to a partner she feels connected to. For a while, I was treated like a gift.
As you should have been.
He loved me.
All past tense.
Then he met a woman. They had their own kids. And to her, I wasn't a gift. I was a problem.
Evil stepmother trope. You know a kid's astute to leave at 7.
But at least with the gods, you know the rules. Show them respect and they'll be in your corner no matter what.
Not no matter what, but sometimes.
He's super grouchy when he doesn't get enough sleep.
He's super grouchy when he doesn't get enough. Yeah.
But yeah, Annabeth has a very good point that unfortunately it's complicated with humans and gods when it comes to love. Okay. Don't know what that was. But yeah, sometimes you have to earn your love with humans too, and that's not right, especially if it's a parent.
Can I ask a dumb question?
It's like you need me to make fun of you.
Maybe.
Guessing neither of you have been to Los Angeles. So, how will we have any idea where we're going?
Google Maps.
Are those...
Centaurs.
Oh, just running out in the fields. Centaurs in the mist. Centaurs in the mist.
The bravest satyrs volunteer to become searchers, trying to find Pan. None have ever returned.
They're hanging wherever Pan is.
You're in cabin 17B.
And?
You want to explain?
We were having breakfast, bro.
Are we under arrest?
I don't think you want to take that tone with me, little girl.
Excuse you?
Are we under arrest?
You are now. But you're all minors.
So we're just killing time till we find out that guy's like a werewolf or something, right?
Right? Or maybe he just is a police officer.
We don't have anything.
The people who think you stole Zeus's master bow might disagree.
Well, look, they're not gonna find something we don't have.
Unless it was planted. How dare you?
Do you mind if I sit?
I do. Who are you?
Don't children get scared when they're all alone?
Yeah, no, she's a monster.
Would you mind giving us a little space? I think you're making them nervous.
You and the touching. Ma'am, I don't know you. There's a whole panini virus going around. You can't do that.
You have something on your jacket. Looks like glass.
Mm-hmm.
Someone smashed them in from the outside.
Mm-hmm. There's no dog in there.
We've run across a few monsters like you, and we've sent them all packing.
Monsters like me.
Yes, that's what he said. Though he didn't stutter.
Of course they're like me.
I kind of like her jacket, though. It's very
They
fashionable.
were my children.
Oh. That's gross.
Echidna.
What a horrible name.
The demigod is a more dangerous creature.
Probably. That doesn't explain, though, why you make such ugly children.
If I exist for anything, it is to stand in the way of monsters like you.
Interesting twist on the narrative. Not buying it, though.
You will be her prey.
Or we take your head off.
So she could learn and grow because
Oh, that's a problem.
you should run now.
Too late.
You got ahead of yourself. We'll work on that.
Did she? She did manage to stab Percy at least one time. I don't know how to tell her this. It's all about pretty privilege. Her children are hideous. Who wants to be warm and fuzzy to that? Not I. Not the Chihuahua.
What is that?
Quill?
Singer.
Oh,
Do you think it's poisonous or something?
we don't know. That's what you should be worrying about. That killer Chihuahua behind you. Maybe you guys should keep running. Yeah. At least the cops will slow them down for about 13 seconds. Damn, every mode of transportation foiled. Y'all really need to invest in a car. Can any of you drive?
We just need a safe place to hole up.
Someplace safe. Any ideas where we might find one of those?
In America?
Each side is balanced perfectly against the other.
True craftsmanship.
It's held up by math.
We like math. Just kidding, I don't at all. But for those who do, be safe.
It's a monument to some other stuff, too.
You're talking about what some humans want this place to be about. I'm talking about what it actually is.
Okay. You know better than to talk to her about her mama. She's gonna have to learn that lesson the hard way.
He doesn't like it when people mess with animals.
Understandable.
Is this your mom's place? Wonder if she's around.
Likely not.
Be right down, just going to the potty.
Really, a British accent?
I have a gift.
Oh, first genuine Annabeth smile. Mm-hmm.
Pretty lucky we happen to be in the right city for it.
Luck or fate?
Pick one.
I know you think it's all just in my head that I tell myself my mother cares because it's easier that way.
It's like, I didn't say any of that. You're projecting.
You shouldn't listen to me.
Just because you're new doesn't mean that you're silly. You're actually quite intuitive, Percy.
It's different. It works for you, but my father,
Stepped out on me. Abandoned me.
I don't want anything from him. He's had his chances.
Period.
Honestly, You've done more for me in the past few days than my father's done in my entire life. If I have to stick with someone...
I think you're about to call me a friend. Somewhere around here, the Oracle is laughing at us, but you know...
Whoa. Uh-oh. Needle sting. See what happens? You're about to call her your friend when we all know she's going to be your girlfriend. That was fate telling you to shush.
This is a great call. Or not.
And to be able to heal him.
What the? Okay, it's here. It's definitely here.
Altar? Where is there an altar?
The highest point, the best view.
Can you discuss this inside? Right now?
And I'm going to ask my mom for help.
Let's do it.
I thought we don't ask for help.
What do we do now? Thankfully, she's stalking at almost a negative pace, so let's go. Quickly, her baby moves a lot faster. They're all like, why is that boy wet? Is there something we should know about? Does he have a condition? She came right in.
How did the Chimera even get inside here? Athena would have had to let her in, but why would she do that?
Annabeth.
Yes, answer questions now, please.
She said my impertinence wounded my mother's pride. And that I embarrassed my mother.
She deserved it.
And if my mother isn't going to protect us, then we'll just have to fight it out up here.
I don't think Percy's in any shape to fight.
We gotta get everybody out of here.
Hold that alarm, because the sound is dying. Whoa, hey.
No. We're all getting out of here together.
It's not gonna make sense right now.
And don't stop. Not till you get to Hades. Not till you have the bolt. Do you hear me?
Why are we saying goodbye, Annabeth? We don't like this. Pen is mightier. Oh, Percy, you slick though. That was slick, I gotta admit. He said you not sacrificing yourself for me, ma'am.
I would have never made it to Hades.
Percy, please.
But you can.
Grover's like, I literally swore on everything that I loved to your mother that I was gonna protect you, sir. Don't do this to me. Chimera's looking very, very interesting. Lovely fur. So smooth. And the horns? We should be friends. We don't have to fight. So does the kid make all of her monsters female? I mean, I'm kind of down for that. Go for an eye, Percy. Why are you hitting the paw? Right in the eye. That's not fair. I thought you said the Chimera could do it on its own. You're a bad mama. But also, that means the Chimera can fall through that. So thank you for that. Did you just throw your sword? He's like, I'm hardier than I look, even if I am sickly.
You never had a chance, did you?
I did try at least. There's water down there, Perce. It's very far away, but... Ah, bliss. There it is! Now bring that water back up with you. Seriously? Sir, you control water.
It's all right, Percy.
Who are you?
Just breathe.
He's like, ma'am, you're crazy. My human lungs do not breathe water.
But he's here. And he's so very proud.
He's like, this is beautiful, but I'm about to drown.
Just
Breathe.
breathe.
Just like your mom used to say. Hey, look at that, I'm not dead. All right, well, you're having a nice little soak. You ended right there. There's so much more left. All right, guys. Well, that was episode 4. I plunged to my death, and it was quite literal, as we saw. So yes, our trio is continuing on their quest, and they're just not catching any breaks. Every time they try to get on any form of transportation that will help them get to their destination sooner, a monster shows up and tries to interfere, and it's no different on this one. We see that the mother of monsters decides to pay them a visit, but just before that, we have an interesting moment between Percy and Annabeth. Percy is, his mind's going a mile an hour, and a million miles an hour, I should say. And, he ends up asking Annabeth about Thalia, because that's the only other forbidden child like himself that he knows of that somebody knew. And he's trying to understand if her experience was like his, or if there's any kind of advice that maybe he could glean through Annabeth's experience. And Annabeth just basically mentions that Thalia was someone who knew who she was from the very beginning, but she just didn't care. She wasn't the kind of person that was warm and fuzzy right off the bat. She says that, between Luke and her, Luke was far more affectionate and kind, but Thalia was someone that made you earn her love and respect, and considering who her father was, it's understandable. But anyways, Percy then very intuitively asks if that's what Annabeth is doing to him. That's why she kind of came off very cold and kind of judgmental towards him when she first met him, and she kind of goes, yeah, I guess, maybe. You can see she was a little surprised at how bang on Percy was about that, and I don't even think she realized that she was like that until that moment. But it makes sense, like, not just because of Thalia, but, considering that Thalia was, from the sounds of things, a mother figure to her, because she was 7 when she met her, she would probably model a lot of her behavior after her because she looked up to her so much. But anyway, we also learned a bit more about Annabeth, her saying that she was a gift to her father. Again, just explaining more of how her mother works as far as how she births children, how she does her thing. And she said that, it was her and her dad for a while and it was amazing. But then when her dad remarried, his new wife had children with him, and she felt like Annabeth was a problem or an issue. And, I said in the episode, it's a stepmother trope, unfortunately, where sometimes stepmoms or stepfathers come into the picture and they really don't mess with the kids that were there before, which to me, I'm like, why would you even marry somebody with a child if you can't love and accept their child? But yeah, some people do that, especially once they have their own children, that, sometimes becomes a preference that happens. And I'm thinking, and again, not that I know anything about this, it's more probably that we need to delve into, but devil's advocate, if her father did in fact treat her like a gift and treat her supremely well, and then he had other children and he was treating Annabeth differently than those other kids, I can see how that would potentially cause a rift. But again, that doesn't excuse allowing that love or, the way that Annabeth was treated to become bad because of that. So anyway, we heard that about the history, and Percy, of course, now knows a bit more about her. They had a little bonding moment there. But then, as I said, Echidna shows up on the train. She gets them off the train and then basically says, listen, I've got some kids here. You've been taking out my kids. And to return the favor, I'm going to use my kids to take you out because I think that's the right thing to do. And she actually describes the demigods as monsters. And she didn't really get too far into her speech, but it is an interesting take, and it is one that is valid, really, when you think about it, because not all the demigods are as nice as the ones we're seeing here with Percy and Annabeth and some of the people that were at the camp. If you look at the Greek history and the mythology, some of the demigods were straight up jerks, right? Some of them were actually pretty awful, and they were not nice to humans. And I mean, pretty much all of them hunt monsters. So again, with Echidna, this is her lot in life to birth monsters. So imagine having all your children taken out by these demigods, right? Like the gods don't mess with monsters, but the demigods do. So it's understandable that she has beef with all demigods. Not fair that she's applying this liberal brush to all of them, but that's the way life works sometimes. But anyway, she says she's going to train her newest baby monster on feeding on them. But of course, that baby monster does not make it very far because Annabeth is a professional, and she ends up bringing out a chimera instead. But before we get to the chimera, we see that the two of them get to one of Athena's sanctuaries in St. Louis, which is this huge ark. I've never been to St. Louis, so I'm thinking it's a tourist attraction. You guys can let me know in the comments. But anyway, they have another conversation there. Percy has been stung, by the way, by the baby by some type of a barb or a quill. But anyway, while they're there, they have another conversation about parents and how these gods and children and their interactions are. And well, before they even get to the sanctuary, Percy says that he thinks it's really messed up that these gods have these interesting relationships about, like, you have to offer up something to be heard. You have to show your undying or earn your devotion from this god. Like, it feels very dysfunctional, and he's very right. Like, if you're looking at the terms of gods and what gods are, they've always been something where, they're higher than men and men are supposed to supplicate themselves to them. So that part makes sense. But I think Percy, of course, is talking about the fact that these are their children. And in a parent-child relationship, there should not be as an idea that you're so inaccessible as a parent that I have to go through all these hurdles and hoops just to get your attention, let alone your love. And he's very right about that. But Annabeth, of course, grew up in a very different world, always knowing what she was. So she really doesn't know any different. But I think she somewhat does agree, even if she doesn't admit that. But anyways, when they get to the sanctuary, I thought they had a really cute moment where Percy pretends to be her mom, kind of actually cracking a real smile out of Annabeth for the first time. And again, you're starting to see like the foundations of why these two eventually become so close, which I think is really important because it is one of the foundational things as we go through all the rest of the books. But again, I just want to give the kudos to the actors because they did such a good job of just giving us those subtle moments and that subtle chemistry that really works to make us understand how they're going to get closer through this whole situation, and really seeing like Annabeth's guard dropping. Especially when Percy tells her that, that he doesn't really trust his dad. He has no reason to reach out to his dad. His dad's done nothing for him. And he's like, Annabeth, you've done more for me in the days that I've known you than my father's done for me my whole life. So if I got to pick between the two of you, I'm going to pick you, right? So I think that meant a lot to Annabeth because I think it means a lot to her that Percy trusts her and sees her abilities like that. But also it just shows again that they are bonding and that this person he considered to be an enemy at the beginning of this whole thing, he's now beginning to see as a friend. So definitely needed for them to continue, but love those bonding moments. And then of course we get to this battle. We find out that this sanctuary is supposed to keep monsters out, but that Echidna and the Chimera are able to literally walk right in, and Annabeth figures it's because of the delivery of Medusa's head to Olympus. She's saying that even though it was Percy who sent it with his name and everything else, Annabeth was there, and obviously all the gods are going to be aware that these three are going on a quest together. So her mom is now like, oh really, you're just going to send that up, you're going to let him do that knowing that I'm here. So again, that just proves to me that her mom is petty as hell. Like Annabeth has got to just start to accept the fact that her mama is not the woman she wants her to be. And that actually goes back to that conversation she has with Percy where she projects onto him saying, I know you think that I'm just making all this stuff about my mom to make it easier. And he's like, I never said all that, but she's saying it because that is exactly how she feels. But that's fine, right? It's one of those things where Annabeth may not realize it at this point, but it definitely is easier for her to believe that her mom is this benevolent archetype in her mind of what a mother should be, because that's what she has to hold on to, right? Her biological father, for all intents and purposes, gave up on her, and that really has to hurt. And so now all she's got is this one parent who has been built up her whole life and also just who's not really been there. So it's kind of easier for Annabeth to hold on to the idea that at least one of her parents still loves and values her when the one that she does know doesn't, if that makes sense. So I kind of get that. I don't think Annabeth quite gets that yet, but even though at times it might make her seem a little naive, it's understandable why she feels like she has to do that. So anyway, lots of really good moments. I think we got to open up the book on Annabeth a bit more in this episode because the first two we really didn't get too much, and that's fine because it was really about our introduction to Percy. But yes, I like that we got more about her and we have a little bit more insight into her thinking, and that Percy has that as well. And as I said, just really shows that Percy and Annabeth really do bounce off each other because Percy was not judging at all. He's not trying to, act any type of way about her feelings. He's really just trying to understand her, and really does, you can see, pick up on a lot and intuit some of the things that she's thinking and feeling. So again, really good moments between those two. And then we finally have the battle with Percy versus the Chimera. I really love that sweet move that he did to switch places with Annabeth. He did not like the idea of her sacrificing herself for him. He goes up against the Chimera, not in any shape whatsoever to do so with that poison in him though. But again, just says a lot to his bravery and his value system. And of course, it's not really a battle. He's not in any position to fight. And what's more is Echidna's up there cheating. And we see that Percy ends up falling, but he doesn't die. He ends up being caught by a spout of water. And we see that his father sent an emissary via one of the sea animals to tell him that it's not that he hasn't wanted to be there, but he just can't, and that he's very proud of him, and that he wants him to just lean into this power that he has, because Percy has been somewhat resisting it because he's been resisting his father for being 100. But we see, like, the woman just tells him, you just need to breathe, breathe. You can breathe underwater. It's one of your demigod powers as the son of Poseidon. But again, I like how they loop that back to the beginning of the episode where Percy didn't even have the courage to let go of the side of the pool when he was learning to swim. And his mom, he told his mom mom to just breathe because she was starting to panic. And of course, he said, that's what you always tell me. So I like the way they brought that back around, but also seeing the indirect way that Poseidon came up with to speak to him, because Percy, who's understandably still upset with his father, also seemed to forget about the fact that being a forbidden child meant that his dad could not directly interact with him. Like, that was literally part of the reason it's a forbidden thing. So anyway, Percy's going to catch on eventually, but I think he needed that pep talk, and he definitely needs to get more in touch with his powers, because that's the only way they're walking away from this monster fight as it is. So yeah, another really good episode. I enjoyed that a lot. Again, seeing the cast just continue to show why they were chosen, and the Chimera, like I said, the effects looked really good on that. And I just also like the way they're just pacing this through. I mean, I was surprised they ended it without seeing the end of this Chimera fight, but again, with only 8 episodes and the whole quest to go, I understand why they kind of had to break things up a bit more. So yeah, I enjoyed this a lot, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please leave some likes and comments on this video, and I will see you in the next one.